Parshas Miketz talks about the story of Yosef, where Yosef was thrown into prison, and he was thrown into this pit. And he asks the Saramashkin at the end of last week's Parsha, he asks the Saramashkin to please remember him when he's redeemed, and he goes in front of Pharaoh, Katapare. So it says, the Saramashkin doesn't remember him, he forgot him. And it's the fact that Yosef asked to be helped, to be saved from the situation. Rashi brings on name the Medrash, says in the Zohar that Yosef was actually, in a way, punished, which is very strange. Yosef is struggling in a very dark situation. He's sitting in prison, in a very complicated, a very difficult situation. And the person that he helps, the Saramashkin, is freed. And all he asks is, he tells the Saramashkin, he tells him that when you're freed and you stand in front of the king, just remember me for goodness, that maybe the king will have compassion and save me and take me out of the situation. What did he do so wrong? And in fact, it seems like Bitachon, the idea of trust, is you always have to make hishtadlus, you always have to try, you have to do whatever you can in your capacity to allow the situation to change. So what was the terrible thing that Yosef did, at least in the level of the tzaddik that Yosef was? Even that's considered something that was negative. Why? So we have to understand the basic idea of what Emunah Bitachon is, what is faith, and what is Bitachon, what is trust, and understand a little bit what the Torah of Hashem, the teachings of ShemTov and Bitachon. So the simple definition of Emunah Bitachon, which is the Aleph Beis of Yiddishkeit, Emunah and Bitachon. Emunah means I believe in the existence of Hashem. That's what Emunah means. But it doesn't mean I believe in the existence of Hashem like I believe in UFOs. It means that I experience the clarity of Hashem's existence in this world. It's an absolute truth to me. Just like I see my hand, I see the presence of Hashem in my life. I see Hashem's presence in this world. Of course, it's something you have to cultivate and work on, but this is the idea of Emunah. Emunah, faith, is not blind belief, but Emunah, like the Rambam writes, sometimes the Rambam writes Emunah, lahamin, and sometimes it says Leda, to understand. The principle of faith is to know, knowing. The faith is a knowing, it's a deeper type of knowing. What do I know? I know in Metzias Hashem, the existence of Hashem. I know it absolutely. What is Bitachon? What is trust? So that's Emunah. Emunah means I know that Hashem exists. What is Bitachon? Bitachon means, on a very simple level, and this is the way the Chavos Levavis and many others speak about the idea of Bitachon. Bitachon means that I trust that whatever the situation that I'm experiencing in my life, this is the will of Hashem. And since everything that Hashem does, it does for the best. This is also too for the good. So I trust that this is for my best. This is for the best. So Bitachon, Emunah means that I know that Hashem exists. Bitachon means that I trust that this is for the best. Even though it doesn't appear for the best, even though I don't see it for the best, I trust that it's for the best. And my relationship to Bitachon is passive. I passively sit and do nothing, because I trust that whatever the situation is, this is the will of Hashem, and I trust this is the right thing for me at this time. Comes along the Baal Shem and teaches a chiddush nifla, a tremendous novel approach to Bitachon. The Baal Shem says, Baal Shem HaKadosh writes and teaches that Bitachon, trust, is not passive. Bitachon is actually active. What this means is that it's not, Bitachon doesn't mean I trust this is the will of Hashem and whatever Hashem does is for the best. Bitachon means I have trust that the situation will change for the better. If a person is struggling with parnassus, with livelihood, a person is struggling with a shidduch, can't find a shidduch, a person is struggling with nachas from his children, a person is struggling with any other issue in their life, Bitachon means that I trust that the situation will change and become resolved in the most opportune, most pleasant way. This is Bitachon. So it's not passive, it's active. I actively trust that the will of Hashem will be revealed in the most pleasant way. And this is the way it's going to, if a person's in prison, they trust that they will leave the prison. Not that they trust that they're in prison, that's the will of Hashem, and I accept it. But I trust that's also, you have to do that, of course. But I also trust that the situation will change. Someone that trusts in Hashem, chesed, kindness will surround this person, which means the trust itself reveals and becomes the kli, the vessel through which this blessing should be received. And if you can ask the question, why does a person deserve it? In the first level of trust, where we understand trust, a person just says, I trust this is the will of Hashem. Whatever it is, it's for good. Whatever the situation that I'm at, this is for the goodness of Hashem. The second level of trust, which the Baal ShemTov reveals, is the trust that I say. And that I have trust that the situation will change. That I will find livelihood, and I will find a shidduch, I will find my right spouse, and I will have eventually nachas for my children. What's that trust come from? Where does that trust come from? What's the source of that trust? And the answer is the source of the trust. To have that trust and the merit that a person receives, the merit that a person has in order to receive that blessing is the trust itself. The fact that a person has that trust is the kli, is the vessel to receive that blessing. The fact that you say that Hashem exists, and Hashem, we have trust that Hashem does things for the best. So the fact that I trust that Hashem does things for the best, and even though I don't understand it now, but I trust that the situation will change, because from my perspective, from my paradigm of understanding, the situation is very harsh, and the situation has to be changed. And I trust that Hashem, when we say that Hashem is a kind, is a loving Father, it means that in my perspective, the way I understand my life, it should be this way. So that in itself draws down the blessing that the situation should change. And this is a very deep and different type of Bitachon that the Baal ShemTov revealed in the world. A new type of Gilul Likus, a new type of revelation of Hashem's presence in this world. That Bitachon itself, the trust itself, becomes the kli, becomes the vessel to receive proper blessings, to receive more blessings in our life. Now let's go to Yosef HaTzadik. So Hashem writes, teaches, there's two types of people. There's two types of people. One person works through the nature of the world, and they plow when they have to plow, and they sow when they have to plow, when they sow, and they go to work. They do what they have to do in order to make a livelihood. Let's say if that's the issue, is to making a livelihood. And there's another person that works beyond the natural norms. They have total trust things will work out, even if they do tiny little bit ishtadlus, a tiny little bit of participation. These are two types of people. Then the Baal ShemTov says that a person that works l'mayla derech hateva, someone that works beyond the natural order, their whole posture, their whole mitzias, the whole way of life, is in a form that's l'mayla derech hateva, beyond the natural world. They'll always receive miracles beyond the natural world. However, someone that's not on that level, it's not l'mayla derech hateva. He does or she doesn't live their life beyond the natural world. But they decide that for now, okay, now I'm going to trust. I'm going to let go of everything. He didn't receive the higher level, and he's not in the lower level. He basically is left in no space. What this means is as follows. There's two types of people, and we have to ask ourselves which type of person we are. One person lives their life in a very methodical, thought out, orderly way. Most people live this way, hopefully. It's a very thought out way. This is al pi derech hateva, the way of nature. A person that operates in the way of nature, this is the way they generally, their modus operatus is always in the form of in a natural way. Their level of bitachon demands, their level of trust demands, that they also make hishtadlus, that they also have to make some type of vessel in the natural world for their blessing to receive. If they want parnasa, if they want livelihood, they have to make sure that they have the good job. That's one type of person. The other person is someone that lives their life, everything's l'mayla derech hateva. Their whole way of thinking is l'mayla derech hateva, is beyond the natural world. Who is a person that lives this way? Someone that his life or her life it's shown to them that everything that they did in their life, the things that happened in their life, that they did according to the natural course of things, didn't necessarily work out. The things that really worked out in their life is things that were unexpected. Who was such a person? This is Yosef HaTzadik. If Yosef Yosef didn't live, his life was not in a very linear trajectory. You can't say he was born in Canaan and it was expected that one day he'll become the vizier of Egypt. There was no linear progression from point A to point Z in his life. Yosef lived his life. It was shown to him constantly that Hashem is leading his life. From being thrown into the pit originally to being sold into Egypt. Why do you have to be sold into the pit? And why do you have to be sold into Egypt? And why did the person Egyptian have to be Dafka Bas Potiphar? He had to be sold into. Why did he reveal the dream to the two people, Sarah Mashka and Sarah Oifim, in that time? And why did Pharaoh have the dream many years later? And why did Yosef was the one that was pulled out? Everything was miraculous. His whole life was one miracle. And miracle, it means something that was unexpected, beyond the natural course of events, beyond the linear progression, the way he understood his life. Yosef, because he lived in the Mayim Derech HaTeva, because his life was progressing in a way that's not progressive, outside the natural form of things, Yosef had to have the type of trust where it's total trust. Do nothing. And you see that in most of Yosef's life, he actually did nothing. His non-doing was the most doing for him. His surrender was the most he can do. When he was thrown into the pit, he doesn't complain. He doesn't say anything. And when things happen to him, he's not complaining because he understands that his life, there's a big drama that has to unfold. There's some mega narrative that his life has to unfold. He has a dream what this how his life should unfold. He's just not certain how. He has to sit quietly. Therefore, when he asked the Sarah Mashkin, when he asked the prince of drink to help him out, so for that level of Yosef, for the level of Yosef Atzadik, on that level, that was considered a damage in his trust. For most people, that would be considered a perfectly normal course of events, a course of actions, because that's the life that you live in. You live in the world of nature. And this is the question we have to ask ourselves continuously. Which life are we choosing to live for ourselves? Are we choosing to live a natural life? And therefore we have to create Bitachon through our ishtadlus, through our participation, or we're living a supernatural life where the blessings come down beyond our expectations and beyond our ishtadlus. Most people shouldn't even think, like the Baal Shem Tov says, you haven't really reached this level, so don't think you have. And if you try to live this level, and if you really haven't, then you're just fooling yourself and you're left not here and not there. But if someone sees the hand of Hashem in such a way, whatever it is in their life, they see the Yad Hashem in such a clear way, the hand of Hashem in such a clear way, then they have to stop thinking that they're in control completely and just surrender to the fact that their life is in the Ma'al Derech HaTeva and Hashem is going to do miracles for them. And that's the level of Bitachon. That's the level of Bitachon, that's the level of trust. You're Bitach and Hashem, the Chesed Sevivani. You're Bitach and Hashem, you have trust in Hashem that the world and the life will turn out to be in the best possible way. And this is the way we receive the higher level of Bitachon.